Welcome everyone back to North to Prem, and as you can see, since last episode, things have gone quite well, and we have managed to find ourselves into the playoffs. So the reason we've come back for the Farsley game, even though I said we were going to come back for Kings Lynn and Charlie, is looking at the league table. If we were to get a win in our next game and Boston were to lose, that would pretty much confirm we'd be in the playoffs. Now, obviously, it would still be possible for them to get level on points, but given the massive difference in goal difference, it would definitely not be possible for them to catch us. So a win in our next game and a loss for Boston could see them um, not get into the playoffs. Could see us qualify for the playoffs. Sorry. So there is some permutations there. So obviously we are going to play the Farsley game away, and then we'll play the away game to Kings Lynn. Whether the Charlie game will be worthwhile playing or not will just depend on how results go. If we do need to play it on camera, then we will play it on camera in this episode. So we could have potentially 3 games. If we manage to beat Farsley and Boston lose and the last 2 games really don't mean anything, then I guess we'll just play the one game. We'll just play as many meaningful games as required rather than, specifically saying we'll definitely play 2 or 3 or just one game. We'll just sort of play it by ear. A couple of the top 4 teams have already definitely qualified for playoffs, but us, South Shields and Southport. And I guess Boston are still in it, and so are Warrington, really. But yeah, since the last episode, I can't remember where we left off. Was it the Southport game? Yeah, so we did actually have 2 back-to-back defeats in the last episode, so it didn't look like even getting in the playoffs was actually going to be likely, but we have turned it round once again. We did have a 2-all draw at home to Warrington, which was disappointing because, again, we were actually leading the game and they went down to 10 men, but still managed to somehow find the equaliser, which again just shows us how poor we have been at the back. But we did get back to winning ways with a massive 5-1 victory over Buxton, who were top of the league when we played them, which, if they do finish in the playoffs, if we did have to play them, would give us massive confidence that we've just beaten them really, really well. We followed that up with another good victory away 4-0 to Darlington. We followed that up with another good victory, a 4-1 win over Blythe Spartans. We did then draw 2-all over Boston, so had we won that game, we would have already qualified for the playoffs. And again, unfortunately, it was another late equaliser, this time in the 95th minute from Tom Leake. Managed to get Boston a point. We then followed that up with a really good win over Gloucester with a 4-2 victory there. So Farsley away, they are sitting 23rd, so you would fancy us to win our game. Boston are playing Brackley, who are 13th, so definitely not an easy game, and that could be one they could lose. So very much all to play for, but we'll get into our first game of the episode. Well, just as before we got to the Farsley game, we have actually been offered a new contract from the board. They've offered us a new contract, and I guess we'll accept it because we don't really have any other options at the minute in terms of clubs interested in us. So we will sign an extension. So at the minute well, they're definitely going to need to up that. We're not just going to accept a new deal on the same wage. So we'll ask for 550. They're offering us a deal till the end of next season. I think that's fine. We'll accept that. 525. Can we do a little bit more? £500. Really? They're not even going to give me an extra £25. Wow. Okay. Well, I guess for now we haven't got a new deal. If it comes to it, we'll obviously just accept the 475, which I think will probably be what we'll get. But yeah, I mean, disappointing. I mean, we are massively overachieving, and we are we're actually well under the budget. So I don't know. I don't know. I think they can afford to give us an extra £25. Yeah, I don't know. In other news, we did get our National C license, so we have finished that. So next season, at the start of next season, we'll apply to do our National B. But yeah, I guess no new contract for now. At the minute, we are out the door on the 30th of June. So for our first game of the episode, we will be away to Farsley. This could wrap us up. This could wrap it up for us, the playoffs. It would just depend, really. If it was possible. The player, Joe Knight there, who is actually a youngster at Brighton, whose contract is out at the end of the season, he looks really good. He's a leading National League North player with championship potential. We've offered him quite a big deal. I think it's about £575 a week. We've maxed out what we could offer. There are a couple teams interested in him, but we are actually the only team that's actually put a bid in for him. He's only 18. He's a centre mid. We don't really play with centre mids, so I'm sure we could retrain him to be a deep line playmaker or something, because he looks like quite the attacking centre mid, potentially even an attacking midfielder. He could fit into either of those spots, I think. Probably more likely to play him in defensive midfielder though. But yep, so this is the team we've got for Farsley game. We'll see how that progresses. We'll let you know if we get that deal done. So in goal, we've got Ellis Craven, a back four of Ahui, Fox, Johnson, and Wyatt. Wyatt is actually out of contract at the end of the year. I'm basically going to see with him. If we stay in the league, if we don't go up, then I think we'll try and renew his contract. If we go up, I think we can probably find a better player. He's been okay. He's not been anything special. I think if we were to stay in the division, he'd be a good signing to keep. But again, I think if we do go up, it would be someone that we would look to probably replace. In midfield, we've got Shalna, Ibrahim, Felix, McCammon, Mooney, and then Chukwuemeka up top. We have very much got back into form, and I think the main reason is going back to the players that are our players and the players that were working. Hines and Giscombe have been fine, but I think this lot, there's four, have been really good, and I don't see a reason to stray away from it. And since we've gone back to it, we have been in and amongst the goals a lot more. We do have the best goal difference in the league, which I think if you had probably started us in the league, if we had started with this team in the league, the team we have now, I definitely think we'd be up in and amongst the league title picture. So we really should be doing well next season, regardless of even if we don't go up this season. But I do think we will get playoffs. I think that looks very likely now. If we could beat Farsley here and results go our way, otherwise we will obviously have that essentially confirmed. Even though it won't be confirmed, we'll know 6 points clear with our goal difference. We are pretty much going to be in the playoffs. If we can win our next two games, I guess regardless of results, we'll be 3 points clear with a massive goal difference, which will again kind of confirm it. So it could be one game, it could be two games. It probably won't be three unless we. Well, actually, it could be 3 games if we don't win both of these games. So we really need to beat these two first teams in the episode here, but we haven't really started the game too well. Craven's made a couple of really good saves there in a row, and Farsley, I guess, are still fighting relegation. I think they're probably a bit far gone now. Can I actually drag this out? Oh, I can. Oh, that doesn't look good. What's happened there? Did I not get? There we go. Yeah, I was going to say, I thought I could drag that out. Oh, well, I guess we'll come back to it. Zan Luke Laban there knocks it forward. And I know my lower league football. He knocks it forward to Curtis. And again, the highlights have all been Farsley, and they nearly scored there. I feel like we're camera shy for some reason. Whenever we're on camera, we never do as well. Let's rearrange this. So we'll have the league table there. We've got the league table on the left hand side. I think we'll have. We don't need both of us. Do we want to see their formation? Yeah, I think that makes sense. Have it. Us on the left, the away team on the right. Be nice to get something else. Or do we want to see latest scores or league table? I feel like the league table is easier because then we can kind of just guess. We know what people were on. Well, I guess I don't because Boston winning. Okay, Boston are winning 2-0, so I don't think we're definitely not wrapping it up today. I mean, if we don't win, it gets very close, and it's going to be quite an exciting end of the season. But I think that looks nice. I never really, to be honest, I was watching someone else play Football Manager. I didn't even realize you could drag this out. Yeah, I mean, that's terrible that I didn't know that. I've been playing it all year. Definitely not good enough, though. We are camera shy for some reason. We seem to do really well in the off-camera games, but for some reason, when we get on camera and we play under the TV, under the lights on TV, we just can't seem to replicate the good form. And it doesn't really matter who we play, which is very odd. Sometimes we do just seem to do better in between games, and I don't think there's a real reason for it. But regardless, we have gone ahead. Dan Mooney putting the goal in there, and that does give us a nice little gap now with Boston. We are 3 points clear with 2 games to go, which means if we do win both of these games, Connor Johnson's got on the end of it there. I thought it was Chukwuemeka, unless Johnson's just got a little deflection there, a little touch on it. Very much looked like Chukwuemeka's goal, but not sure on that one. But yeah, regardless, we are 2-0 up now, and we are looking a much better side this second half as Chukwuemeka and Felix link up, and Felix hits the post that time. But again, I mean, don't see a reason to really change it. But we've been good. I am a little bit worried about the state of our squad going into next season because we do have a lot of loans, and Connor Johnson's also out of contract. Who, he's a good player, but he just wants so much money, and I just don't think we can afford that. I don't know what happened there. The game just kind of got froze there, but I think that sometimes happens when it goes in. Sometimes you think you're going to be getting a goal because the little thing comes up the bottom, but it's actually just a substitute. But we've been much better this second half, and we will make a change now. I think we'll bring some fresh legs on. We'll bring Hines on. We'll bring Gizcom on. I think we'll leave the rest of it as it is. 20 minutes to go. I mean, this was a team that we should be beating. I think this will relegate. This will definitely, yeah, this, I mean, look at the, to be honest, I think they were probably already relegated, weren't they? Yeah, I think Farsi must have already been relegated. So really nothing to play for there. We definitely should have been winning this. And it looks like we will win this. So at least we've got the first win under our belt. But, well, I'd say that as far as they break through, but that's probably why they've been relegated, because they waste chances so much. But I think a number of teams will already be relegated now, actually going into the last two games, and I don't think there'll be too much left to play for at the bottom of the table. But at the top of the table, it's all to play for in the playoffs. There's definitely a lot of potential to still get yourself in the playoff, as Gizcombe really should be scoring there. I mean, it's an easy chance. He's done really well there, Hines, and played it across the floor. He's maybe hit it a little bit too hard, but I mean, realistically, he should be putting that in. He should be controlling it. And I think he's been a little bit, I wouldn't say he's just disappointing, but he's definitely not lived up to the star rating that he's come in with. And McCammon, who's got a much worse star rating, has been way better. So I don't really know what to make of him. He has only, he hasn't been here forever, so maybe that's just it. He's still getting used to it. And he has been a little bit in and out the side. It's not like he's been terrible or anything. He's just not much of a goal scorer. And neither are Farsley by the look of it, because they do have a minus 40 goal difference. But we win this game, so we do see out the victory, a 2-0 win. Definitely a much improved second half, and that does put us one step closer to getting in the playoffs. I think looking at it now, 3 points clear. If we win our next game, we will pretty much be, well, yeah, we will pretty much be guaranteed a playoff spot. We could actually finish as high as 5th. Don't think we can finish any higher. Well, I guess we could win. We could get 4th if Scunthorpe lose both their games and we win both of ours. But either way, we're not going to get in the top 2, so it doesn't really matter. We will have to play that extra game regardless. But we are only one victory away now from pretty much securing playoffs, which would be really, really good, I think, given the start of the season where we joined. Obviously, about 10, 12 games in, the club was rock bottom of the league. It's been some turnaround since we've come in. We've done a fantastic job. Probably aided by the fact that we didn't really have a cup run. So we have been totally able to focus on the league, not had to rotate players or really suffer any kind of player fatigue from playing too many games. So we're looking really good. I think we are coming into it in decent form. Obviously, we do seem to just have our odd off days, which is a little bit worrying because obviously the playoffs are just one-legged games. So we would have to be on for it, but we are one step closer. So we'll come back for the second game against Kinsling and hopefully get it secured. They are 19th, so you would fancy us. So between this game and the next game, we have had our youth intake, and honestly, it is pretty awful. Not one of them looks any good. To be honest, we don't really have we don't have an under 18 side. We just have youth candidates. Our youth recruitment is very limited. We don't have any coaching. We don't even have a youth setup. It's really not a surprise that none of them are any good. I'm honestly not going to offer a contract to any of them. Some of them might have okay potential, 2-star, potentially 3-star, could potentially make it to National League North, but we've got to have our sights aimed higher than that, our heights. I don't know. We have to aim higher than that regardless. So there's our youth intake, and they're all kind of rubbish, so we're not going to bother. So we are going to confirm the pre-contract signing of Joe Knight. He joins us on a free contract on the expiry of his contract. He'll be a star player for us. Is he going to join us before June? 5th of May? Going to join us before June? I mean, I don't think he'll be. Well, he might play in a playoff game actually if he comes in. Probably won't play him just because he hasn't really been a part of the squad anyway. But he is going to join us, and I mean, he looks really good. He looks like a really, really solid signing. So there's the confirmation there that the King's Lynn game's been postponed because of a waterlogged pitch. He's not going to be playing on the 16th. Is that after the other game? No. Okay, well, at least we'll see. I guess at that point, at least we'll know the other results, so we'll know if a win will be enough anyway, even though I think it will anyway. But yeah, he does join us. He is currently a leading National League North player with championship potential. How good would it be to keep him and have him come up with us through the leagues if possible? But that all depends on if the board want to keep me to go up the leagues, because at the minute we haven't got a good contract. I've never seen that before. Like clicking on the contract and then the board requests to discuss a new contract. They must have seen me looking at it. Yes, that's fine. Please offer me a new deal. They're going to offer us a new deal. Okay, well, our match has been postponed till Tuesday, so I guess we'll just continue on. South Shields have confirmed their playoff place. We would, okay, Boston did win, but we would confirm our own playoff place with a victory. A loss or even a draw very much leaves it open to the end of the season, whereas a win would pretty much uh, qualify us. But we have been offered our contract. I'll once again ask for a little bit of a rise. They're not interested. They don't want to do it. Fine. We'll accept the extension. £475 a week is not a bad offer at this point anyway, at this level. So we have extended our contract. We will be Peterborough Sports manager for the foreseeable future. Our new deal runs until the end of next season. The club will get £26,000 if someone did come in and try to take us off our hands. But that's us wrapped up, and we will be obviously planning for next season. Now we know we're going to be here. So we can confirm our playoff place with a victory here. We're going to go with the exact same 11 that we played in the Farsley game for our away trip, which is actually a postponed away trip to Kings Lynn. We've got a new contract. We've got a new star player joining us. All things are looking good. The only thing we really need now is to confirm our playoff place, and then we will be really happy and really positive going into those playoffs. But I mean, they've not been in good form, so you'd expect us to get a victory. Kings Lynn are down in 18th, so a victory here would pretty much confirm our playoff place. We would be 3 points clear with a massive goal difference. I don't see anyone making that up on the last day unless some absolute craziness goes on. No one's scoring 20 plus goals in the last day of the season. So I think it would actually be more than that, like 28 goals, wouldn't it, for Warrington? Yeah, that's not going to happen. So a victory here would wrap up our playoff place pretty much. I mean, obviously it won't show it, but we'd know, knowing that goal difference isn't going to get made up. But we do have to win here, and I've noticed this a lot. We are just very slow to come out of the gate. We don't really race out. We usually do wait for a better second half performance. I mean, that's just got to be one of the most boring first halves of football I've ever seen. Absolutely zero highlights. So we'll get angry. Kane Felix didn't like it. Do we take him off? I mean, we can't really accept that kind of disgruntled employee. Someone else wasn't happy, but I didn't catch who it was. Anyway, we'll bring Hines on. Hopefully, he can make a difference. I think we would probably just start with the 11 we've started now for our playoff games. Even if Joe Knight does join us, which he might join us before the playoffs, I'm not sure. I think it would probably be a little bit like too late. I don't know how close to the regular league season the playoffs are played. I imagine it's pretty close. You only probably want a week or two gap at most. But even if he does come in, I think we'll just put him on the bench at most. I don't think he's the kind of player. He's probably not match fit. I don't want to just throw him in to such huge games. I think it definitely deserves to be the players who've been here all season. But Hines breaks through, and unfortunately, he can't score the goal to confirm our playoff place. A draw really does leave it open to the last game of the season, and we really would not want to come into that knowing that there is 4 teams, and we'd have to be the 2 best out of the 4. We really need to go and get the win here, but it doesn't look like we're going to because we've just not done anything. We'll berate the players, try and get a bit of motivation into them, but they're just not turning up again on camera, which is really disappointing. I was going to say, do we make another substitution? But we have got a highlight, so we'll let it play. Hines does well to win the ball. He just end up back at Hines. He is looking for an option there. Plays it back to Fox. I mean, this would be where Joe Knight will be really good, just playing in the middle. Obviously, Ibrahim and Chalna just kind of playing it amongst themselves. But it's up through to Chukwuemeka. Oh, he's hit the post. Chukwuemeka with a chance to confirm our playoff place. Doesn't. He puts it wide. And well, it hits the post and goes wide. You know what? We'll leave Mooney on. I know he's not playing well, but he's always got a goal in him. And we'll bring Giscombe in. He hasn't really been a goal scorer. McCammon's been much more of a goal scorer, but maybe he could be the hero. That's all you need. Sometimes in these games you do get an odd hero, and maybe it can be him. As Hui picks up the ball, looking to get forward. And it does look like if anyone's going to score, it is going to be us. And this could be a dramatic way to seal it. As Hui looking for an option, plays it through back to Ibrahim. He plays it even further back to Shalna. He plays it even further back to Fox. I mean, we're just going backwards, but it is Fallen to Hui, who plays it through to Hines, who shoots and scores. Josh Hines from the right-hand side does put it in. It's Peterborough Sport 1, Kings Lynn Town 0, and that's probably the most I've celebrated a goal this whole series, as that goal does put us 1-0 up and would, if we were to hold on to this victory, confirm our playoff place. But now actually it's Kings Lynn driving forward and they've knocked it in. Nasangu, no! Oh, you gotta be joking. Junior Nasangu at the left-hand side, a ball comes in, he's headed it in, and as quickly as we've gone ahead, well, as long as it's taken to go ahead, as long as it's taken for the first goal, they've just gone up the other end and scored their own goal. We'll make a last sub. We'll bring Tootle on just because of who he is tiring. And Tootle does have a goal and an assist in him, even though he's not a very good player. But it looks like it is going to end in a draw, and this would really make the last game of the season very interesting, unless we can get a late winner here. Wyatt whips it in. Oh, I thought that was going to be it. Hines gets on the end of the header, but he puts it wide. And again, we've got another late highlight. It's Tootle. It's all kicking off. It's Hines. Can we get the goal? Into Mooney! Dan Mooney gets there at the back post in the 92nd minute. That's got to be it. Please, referee, just blow the whistle. No! There's a corner for Kings Lynn. Oh, thankfully, they've put it over. It's all happening. It's all happening here away at Kings Lynn. But thankfully, the referee blows his whistle and we have left it very, very late there in dramatic fashion. Dan Mooney, I left him on. I said he's got a goal in him, and I was proved right. Josh Hines, what a substitution. A goal and an assist from him does give us the win, and that does mean that we have secured our place in the playoffs, which is excellent. What a turnaround from us, from rock bottom of National League North to in the playoffs, to potentially getting promoted into the National League. Essentially, that does mean that the last game really doesn't mean anything. So we will play this one off camera, but I'll quickly show who will be playing in the playoffs after that game. So we played the Chorley game off camera, and we have had a very, very good result. A 5-1 victory with goals from Mooney, Hines and Chukwuemeka have managed to see us finish in the playoffs. As you'd expect, we obviously were going to finish in the playoffs anyway, but it's obviously good just to get it wrapped up. If we go back and look at the league table, South Shields, we actually finished above, so we did finish 5th, but we didn't finish 4th above Scunthorpe. Chester, Buxton, South Shields, Scunthorpe, ourselves, and Southport are all the teams that have qualified for the playoffs. Warrington and Boston United did miss out on the last games, even though they both won their games, I think, or maybe Warrington definitely won because they're above Boston. But essentially, we will be playing South Shields in the first game. Scunthorpe will be playing Southport. If we were to win our game, I believe we'd play Buxton. Chester would play either Scunthorpe or Southport, and then the winner of that would play the final. So we need to win 3 games if we are to get promoted, but we are at home to South Shields because we are the team that finished higher in the league. So just because we pipped them on the last day of the season, we by a point we do manage to get the home advantage for our first game in the playoffs against South Shields. But that'll be next episode. We'll do the playoffs. It could be 1 game, could be 2 games, could be 3 games if we manage to get to the final. We will just see how we go, but we will do all of the playoffs in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all for the next episode very soon.